Ladies and gentlemen, we are coming at you live from episode 41 of Life on the Rocks with your host, Connor LaRock. Today's featured guest in the hot seat is my good friend, Jamie Ansara. How you doing, brother?
Oh, fantastic. How you doing?
I'm doing really good.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, anytime. It's an absolute pleasure to have Jamie in the hot seat today. For anybody who doesn't know Jamie around the city of Sudbury, he's the owner of Jamie's Phone Repair. Number of different things going on, though, and we're going to get into that. But first off, what got you started in business, Jamie?
Well, I realized I didn't want to work for anybody, and I didn't like people telling me what to do. I found that over time when I was working as a dishwasher or gas station attendant, you never really got any further in life. You got to work for yourself. That's the only way you're ever going to get ahead. If you're on someone else's time all day, you're making them money.
Absolutely.
So that's pretty much exactly what drove me over time.
Absolutely. Well, what got you into phone repair, for instance? Because I know at one point you were doing the investments.
It's a funny story. Well, I'm actually a general red seal machinist, so I did that for like 8 years, and then I did the finance stuff. I used to work as a financial consultant for Investors Group, but I missed fixing stuff. So then one day I got in it's a funny story, but I got into an argument with my ex-wife, and I know ironically, but she threw her phone at me and it bounced and hit a hot water rad.
Whoa.
And it broke the phone, and I tried to get the phone fixed in town. And this was in Timmins, actually, and nobody knew how to fix phones.
No kidding.
So I decided I'm like a mechanically inclined. I just ordered the screen on Amazon, fixed it, and then I was like super impressed by myself. Wow. So I went to hockey that night, played some hockey, and I told my buddies, hey, I fixed my wife's phone, and 6 of them all had broken phones, and they're like, well, there's a business.
Absolutely.
That's pretty much exactly. It was a fluke, really, more than anything.
Seriously, you had a funny story to go with it, which makes it even better.
Yeah, it's ironic.
How long have you been in business, like fixing phones?
The phone stuff's about 6 years now, give or take. It's been about that for that. Yeah, 6 years. Yeah.
What do you find? Like, how do you get clients? Like, obviously, everybody's breaking their phones, so it's a huge market. But like, are you marketing online, or do you just do traditional? Like, what's going on?
So I started with Facebook actually. Back when I first started, Facebook was huge, and so I advertised on Facebook, and that was like the biggest thing for me was I was getting the most interactions with clients, and people were able to give me reviews on Facebook, and you knew who they were. So in where I'm from, in Timmins, is a small community.
Absolutely.
So people were able to pass their name around quite well, and that really worked for me was Facebook straight out, like just because of the openness of it, and they could leave the reviews, and that was pretty big for me. And just over time, like it,
just build up enough of
you just build up enough of a clientele, and then all of a sudden people get your name, and basically phone shops like TELUS and Bell and all these places, they find out who the best guy is, and when they want you to have a phone, so they'll send you to the best guy, and hopefully just pray you're the best guy at the time, right?
No, absolutely. And that's like I've seen too, you've done quite well. Obviously you see your shop on Instagram, all this other stuff. I'm supposed to make an appearance there. He's asked me a few times. I will be there. But
he's a busy guy.
Hey, we're all doing our thing. But would you consider, I want to get into this for a second. Have you always been, like, obviously with the start of the interview, like, you consider yourself, you've always been an entrepreneur? Like, you've always had that spirit in you?
Yeah, I mean, I've always liked the idea of working for myself, even when I was younger. And I always liked the idea of always constantly getting better. So never just accepting whatever job I was in. I would always be like I said, when I used to pump gas, and I was like, okay, well, what's next, And then I started washing dishes, and then, okay, well, what's next, And then I worked at a call center in Timmins, working. I was working for an old school cell phone company called Nextel, which is where I actually learned all the software, stuff about phones. And this was like what? I was like, 16 years ago.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, it's my birthday tomorrow, actually. Yeah, so it was like I was 20, and I got a job at a call center. So, and then after the call center, it was like, my buddy told me that he was making a lot more money welding. And so I'm like, well, how did you do that? And he's like, well, I went to school for millwright, and then I went into welding. So I'm like, okay, well, I want to make more money constantly, and then that's what it is. You got to see, what can you do to make more money and better yourself?
Absolutely.
And constantly, never stop.
Yeah,
even today, like every day, there's always something I'm getting into that could make me better, or whatever it is that I'm doing. The minute you stop growing, you might as well just call it a day.
No, absolutely. I gotta ask you though, how the hell did you get into financial investing then? Like all of a sudden,
that's
like you're going from all these different.
So like in 2007, like I was a machinist in a machine shop actually in North Bay, and I was making great money, and then all of a sudden this crash happened, and everybody lost their job, and I'm like, well, who cost us our jobs? You know what I mean? And it was like all the banks and finance guys, and I'm like, so they still have jobs. Well, I'm going to go do what they're doing, because if they have a job and I just lost my job, I never thought in a million years as a machinist that I'd be out of work. I could literally build anything in the world. Like, I literally build any part. So I felt that, you know, hey, I'm going to be needed forever. Soon someone's going to need me. And the minute that they took my job away and laid me off, I was like, what am I going to do? So then I got EI, you know, and I was like going to sit on EI and just wait for my job to come back to me and go and garden all summer or whatever it was. But I said, no, I'm going to go and study life insurance, and I'm going to study mutual funds, get my licenses. And I went and worked for this company called Investors Group, and basically started doing that because, well, they basically, in my opinion, that's kind of, you know, not specifically them, but the big banks are what caused the crash. We all know that. Yeah. And so, like, I figured, you know, they still had a job. They got bailed out after. I didn't get bailed out when Machine Shop closed. I was out of work. Absolutely. I went from making $1,600 every 2 weeks to $800. Well, you know, when you got a house and you got all these bills and stuff like that, car payments, you know, you can't really live on that, man. Like, it doesn't work. So that's pretty much why I did it. Like, it was just, you know, from coveralls to what you're wearing.
No, exactly. Get the suit and tie.
It was nice. It was a nice change for a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. What do you think? Like, so out of all these positions you've been in, like all these different jobs, what was the most difficult, just in general?
I would say that the finance job actually was the hardest, because, you know, you had to you had to sell nothing. You have no product. Like, you're selling like something that they'll never get. So with life insurance, hey, you want to buy this cool thing that you'll never get in your life. It's so hard to, you know, it's so hard to sell that. So but once you could sell nothing, it's like literally you're selling nothing. Like, you're selling life insurance. It is a product of the family. But when you're selling life insurance, like, the person's never really gonna cash in on that, because they're gonna say, when they're selling a person a lottery ticket, they're like, I could potentially win millions of dollars and enjoy my life. Well, you're selling death, basically. Exactly. So it was a very tough tough sell, but it made me a good salesman over time, and it made me it humbled me. It definitely humbled me, and it made me appreciate the hard work that a lot of insurance salesmen go through. But at the same time, you know, it definitely brought out, I would actually say personally myself, when money got tight, it brought out to kind of like, it made me hungrier. Absolutely. It made me hungry. It made me go to work more. I worked, you know, 15, 20 hours a day, and some days I would make no money. Some days I was actually leave at the end of the day, and I'd be like, it cost me money to go to work for 20 hours this day. But that's life, you know, that's the thing. Sure. And if you're not willing to put that time and sacrifice in, you'll never do anything. So.
Did you find, even with like going into the financial side, so this is something I always like to talk about, entrepreneurs, I always like talking about sales. I come from a sales background, we know that relatively well. Mm-hmm. How do you feel about sales? Like, becoming a salesperson, like, what keeps your business in business is sales.
Well, that's what helps me. I could actually say, like, with what I do now, a lot of my customer service, and, you know, if you go on my Facebook site, you know, Jamie's Phone Repair, and you can read all my reviews and stuff like that. And normally I'm a pretty nice guy to 99% of my clients. And I find that because of my sales experience, it helps you be more relatable, you know, and helps you kind of, I don't know, see the customer a little bit better and be able to sell them a little bit better on what they need, as opposed to that what you want to sell them to make the most money. Exactly. So when you sell a customer something that they actually need, as opposed to just say, hey, you want to buy this great thingamajigger that does nothing, and no, they don't want the upsell. They want what they need. Exactly. Yeah. And so I pride myself on trying to get the people what they need, what they want, and nothing more than that. Exactly, you know, because I don't know, like, that's just the way that I do things. People are different.
How do you feel about this, like this analogy in general, that, you know, sales is almost like a power in a sense, because you're able to pump revenue through a company. So, like, a lot of people look down on sales, but I mean, you got to give salespeople credit that they're able to
anybody who looks down on a sales guy has never been a sales guy.
That's it. I love that right there.
That's it. You've just worked for somebody your life. You've never been an entrepreneur. You've never struggled. You never understood what they go through. You know, and go knock door to door. Go do that, and you've got a family to feed, and that's what you know how to do. Go do that. You tell them, you come back to me and tell me you have no respect for sales guys. Sometimes when I walk up to the doors as a finance guy, I'd be shaking. I'd be shaking to knock. Oh my God, you know, what are they going to say to me? You know, you don't know what they're going to say. You could be the most confident guy in the world, but when you knock on someone's door and they tell you to F off, and you're like,
It's funny because my brother had showed me that. Yeah,
it's true, man. I knocked on every door in Timmins, Ontario. Like I literally, I had to, because when you're a new guy, you need to get clients. You know what I mean? And also, I found that being a sales guy, it helped with my customer relations, to be able to talk to people in general and be more relatable. I find that a lot of, you can't be an introvert.
No,
and go and try to be a salesperson and expect people to come up to you and go, hey, I want to buy whatever it is that you're selling. No, you're not gonna, you have to talk to them. You have to be kind of like you're an extrovert. You like to meet new people. Yeah, but I mean but you're likable, and you come off as, you don't come off as like you're trying to sell people. You come off as, in my opinion, you come off as a good guy, and you're a hard worker. So you gotta put out this thing like, listen, I'm a hard worker. I'm going to work hard for you. This is what I do. This is you can't just go and expect people to think that you're going to do good.
Exactly. Yeah,
you don't want to do that. You're going to scare them off with that, right?
No, for sure. No, actually, I like your analogy on that too. But cross it over for a second. So another thing, this is something that everybody's waiting to hear about, because a lot of people are confused with what's going on here. So you're one of the first people from locally that I've seen starting to post about cryptocurrency.
Yeah, I do a lot of mining.
So what's going on here? Talk to me for a second. A lot of my viewers out there have no idea.
Well, first of all, I'm not an expert on this stuff, because it's all brand new. And anybody ever tells you that they're an expert in cryptocurrency, you call them a liar, because there's nobody who's an expert. I don't care what you say. Even the people who think that they're experts, they end up with mud on their face all the time. Okay, that's a fact. So I mean, it's such a volatile industry, and it's so new. It's kind of like no one really knows what to think about it. So, I use a funny analogy, but it's when the market crashes. For example, today the market crashed. Today, coins like Ripple dip below $1 per coin, and not even a month ago, Ripple was past $3 a coin.
Yeah.
So that's a huge crash. Now, when you look at these things that happen, and some people look at it and they get all scared, and they're, oh man, it's coming to an end, and this and that, and people really don't realize that this has already happened in this exact same market for the last 10 years. It's been happening. It happens all the time. It crashes. You got to look at it this way. First of all, you don't put money in this that you can't, we don't want to lose. That works with just about any investment, whether it's with a bank, whether it's with, unless you're buying GICs, but your purchasing power goes away with GICs anyway. So, but you got to look at it is that you don't put anything in this that you're not willing to lose. It's almost like gambling, but a lot more controlled and way more fun, in my opinion. I think it's more fun.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Especially the mining aspect of it. I really enjoy that. It's kind of like buying the cow instead of the milk, But that's a whole other ballgame. But when it comes down to the crashes, for example, when filet mignon goes on sale, everyone's stoked. When pizza goes on sale, everyone's stoked. When chicken goes on sale, everyone's stoked. But when cryptocurrency goes on sale, everyone wants to kill themselves and quit. It just doesn't make sense to me. It's like you're literally buying the same product you were trying to buy 2 weeks ago for half price, and you're freaking out and you're terrified. Like that, to me, it's like that's, I don't know. There's a lot of people who just get that FOMO and the fear of missing out, and so I don't know. It's a very tough market, in my opinion. Yeah.
How do you feel about risk? Like a lot of people, I find, especially being an entrepreneur myself, they can't handle risk. Like, how do you feel? Like, how do you get over that hump to be able to take that leap? Like, is it
you lose?
Yeah,
you have to lose in life. That's it. You lose, and then you pick your socks back up, and you just know that you're, no matter what. Like, that if everything was taken from you right now, and I took everything you owned, there's a fact. You know for a fact that who you are as a person, you will rebuild your stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Definitely.
I've failed many times in my life at different things, and I've always rebuilt myself completely. It's just the person who you are and what you, and so that makes risk non-existent to me. There is no risk. I'm a 36-year-old guy. I have literally, my grandpa lived till he was 100, and if I live as long, I have a lot of years to go. Just theoretically. And I've learned as much as I've learned in this amount of time. I've failed, I've won. I've made tons of mistakes along the way. That's part of the deal. But realistically, when you recover from those mistakes, it makes the risk go away for me.
Absolutely.
It just completely makes... No, if you go to the casino, it's a total different thing.
Yeah.
You have no... I don't gamble. Personally, I don't gamble. If I were to gamble, I'd be playing a poker game against you.
Exactly,
Because I genuinely think in my mind I have a good chance of beating a person. But if it was a blackjack game at the casino over there, you're going to lose, man. Like, this is the way that the system is designed to take your money.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's it. There is no chance. Same with cryptocurrency. If you do your research if you know what's going on, if you research the teams of who owns the coins, check out who they are. Do your research, and you'll learn that the risk will be less if you know what you're doing and you know who you're investing in. It's like that with any stocks. It's like the same thing with stocks.
I want to ask you, so going forward for a second, like, have you always had this mind, like, I always say mind says everything, wrote the book on it, right? We make the joke. But, like, have you always had this mindset? Like, even though I know you've had, the failures, you have a lot of successes going on, like, how did you build that confidence? Like, I tell people to build confidence is through experience, but not working 20 years at ballet. Just do something you're not used to, react.
I would say no, I've definitely not always had confidence. I mean, I don't think that anybody's built with confidence. I think I was very insecure in my early 20s because, well, first of all, I never had any money, and I lived paycheck to paycheck. Which makes you insecure in general because you're not worried about getting ahead. When I was young, I was worried about making my rent.
Exactly. Yeah.
But the thing is also when you're young, you spend a lot of time trying to look more successful than you actually are because you're whatever it is that you're trying to do. If you're trying to attract girls or whatever it is, and that seems to be the most important thing. So when I found when I was younger, I was insecure, and so I would say that it did not make me. I don't know. I found it didn't give me any confidence at all, and so confidence in yourself.
Yeah.
I don't know. I found that as I get older, and as I got older, and I learned that it's like an anxiety thing. And anxiety is a constant fear of something bad happening constantly.
Exactly. Yeah.
And as you get older, you're like, hey, wait a minute, no, it's nothing bad's really gonna happen. Like so I guess it just changes as you get older. But failing and picking yourself back up is definitely. It's helped my confidence. That's me personally. But you have to fail.
Exactly.
You think you're just going to win all day. When you decide that one day you're not going to win, you're going to go and call it a day. No, you got to keep picking yourself back up. I
got a good one for you. Being how you are outspoken, I love it. And I got to ask you, how do you feel about today's education system?
Ooh.
That's a good one. It's loaded. I figured Jamie's the perfect gentleman to ask here.
Well, you're talking about a guy who got kicked out of high school. I ended up going to college because I ended up doing my high school, whatever. I went and wrote a beautiful test that graduated high school in like 4 hours,
like
which was fantastic.
The GED,
yeah, exactly. Well, to get into machinist school, I had to get my equivalency, right? So I got kicked out of high school because I spent most of my time on a computer. And when I was 13, I got given a computer, which is when the internet first came out. Okay. So I would literally get home at 3:30. And literally be on my computer learning till like 1 o'clock in the morning. And, my parents would try taking it away all they want, but I'd sneak in and figure out a way to get at it, And there was that constant flow of information. I was taking in information 20 times faster than I was learning at school. I'd go to school and I was so bored. I couldn't concentrate in class. Plus, I'd have been up all night. My brain was fried from learning all this crazy information the internet had to give you. And so for me, high school never worked. I've always been a practical guy. I need to have it in front of my face. I need to work on it. When I was in machinist school, I did fantastic because I'm working physically with stuff.
Absolutely.
And the same thing goes with cell phones. My education on fixing technology, I'm working on it with my hands. I'm seeing it. It's like, I believe that the current education system is like something that basically was invented for factory workers. They got the bells and they got the lunches and they build you to be a factory worker. I've seen these Montessori schools and I think that they're incredible. I think that those are the best schools and I think that they should be transforming most schools into a Montessori style education system because it makes people play. It gets their brains active. It makes you see things the way that they actually interact and they do puzzles. Now, sitting there reading a book all day is only good for people who are book smart. That's it. There's two different. We all know there's two different kinds of smarts. There's just usually book smarts and street smarts. I mean, there's probably a third or fourth, but I don't know what that is. But most people I've met, you're either street smart or book smart or a combination of the both. Mm-hmm. And so when you just design an entire system around book smart people and obedient factory workers, that's exactly what you're going to get.
Exactly. Yeah.
You're not going to get as many entrepreneurs. You're not going to get. That's just from what I've noticed.
Definitely, yeah. No, I figured you'd be the perfect person to ask, especially being that there is, like, obviously we're going through a mass disruption in the market. You never know what's going to happen within the next 10 years with AI, with everything else.
Well, artificial intelligence, and also like how we talk about this, this new change in how we're basically taking on new employees. With the minimum wage stuff. It's all coming. So it's going to change so much that it's going to. A lot of people are going to have to change themselves.
Absolutely,
to adapt. You have to adapt, or you're going to sink.
Here's the big thing. Would you encourage with this mass disruption people to become entrepreneurs?
Always.
And if so, what do you? What is
everybody should be an entrepreneur on their own time.
Yeah, definitely.
If you're going to work for 8 hours a day, when you're coming home and you're just going to go home and play video games all night and drink beer, whatever it is that you're going to do every day, and you don't find that your wage is up to par, you think that you can do better, but at the same time you're going home after your 8 hours and you're tired from your job and whatever, and you don't do anything to further yourself after work. That's when an entrepreneur, in my opinion, does the best work. Because he just went and grinded it out for 8 days, or for 8 hours. He's tired, but he knows that. He doesn't want to keep doing that. If you're not happy with your job, now don't get me wrong, there's some people who go to work, they make a good wage, and they like that nice, safe paycheck, this and that. But I'll tell you right now, from me personally, when it's pulled away from you, when you get that taken from you, it changes your mentality. And that's what happened to me personally. I thought I was secure as a machinist. I was making excellent money. I had a secure job. I have an education. I have a red seal. It was a lot of work to get that.
Definitely, yeah.
4 years or whatever it was of an apprenticeship. No one could take that from me, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But then when it was taken from me, it really opened my brain up to saying, hey, you can't allow someone to be on top of you to take whatever it is that you worked away. Now, like I said, if you want to go home after your 8 hours of the day, you want to watch TV and entertain yourself and play video games, whatever it is, that's your decision. But when you're out of work because you didn't further yourself, or you're not making the wage that you're happy with because you didn't further yourself after school, they call it night school for a reason. That you go and you upgrade and you get better. You didn't get your high school, you go get your high school, whatever it is that you need to get to that next level.
No, absolutely.
And so you got to do it. And yes, I believe everybody should be an entrepreneur. I believe that everybody should have their own little business on the side, making extra money.
Exactly.
Or 6 businesses on the side, whatever it is that you're doing. But everybody should have another form of income other than the current income that they're making from their employer, and then be able to slowly go into that.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? It'll make you happier.
No, absolutely. I think that's huge, especially on that point. You see a culture right now, a significant number right off of what you just said that, that's my thing. I have no problem with anybody going home at night doing their thing, but if they're going home and they're complaining about their current situation, well, I always say the same thing. What are you going to do to change it? And that's where we got to start right there with a lot of these people. And that's why I wanted to bring you on the show. What I wanted to close off, though, in the closing remarks here, Jamie, what's next for you? I mean, you're involved in a number of different things, either whether it be crypto, you've done the investments, you've done, you're doing phone repair, you work with your hands, you're an entrepreneur. What do we expect? I got to know. I ask that every time. Go.
I can't even say, because then everybody else is going to start hopping on it.
Yeah, let's cut
I don't even want to say it because everyone's going to hop. I would say that. Believe it or not, it's going to sound crazy, but artificial intelligence is my next thing that I've spent a lot of time reading into. I don't want to get too heavy into it, but I believe that is the future of everything. And if you don't learn how to use it and make a tool out of it somehow, or get into that industry somehow, you're going to be behind. Start reading, start understanding what it is, who owns what's coming. And that's it. If you're not up to date with technology, you know what I mean? If you're not up to date with coming events, you're going to be left behind. And that's the way it works in life. And that's it. That's what I personally. There's a couple of things that I got on the go right now, but that I would say I spent a lot of time with, other than my cryptocurrency stuff. I spent a lot of time learning and trading. That to me is very educational, and it's become like a video game to me. I don't play video games anymore. I used to love video games, but I've switched from video games to trading cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
In my opinion, it's way more fun.
No, absolutely. Honestly, Jamie, I got to say, I think you've done an excellent job. And like you said, you're the realest guy that's walked on the show, giving the realest content. And honestly, all the points you made, I think you've done an exceptional job.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Absolutely, man. Seriously. For anyone that needs to get their phone fixed, I'm going to throw mine at the wall after this. I'm just kidding. But where can we find you on social media? So you got LinkedIn, you got Instagram.
I'm not so big on the LinkedIn stuff. I mean, but I got. If you just type in Jamie's Phone Repair on Facebook, you'll see my store. It's up in the Greenville Court behind the keg.
Perfect.
Yeah, you can see it on Google. I think it's there now. But yeah, you ever need anything, give me a shout.
He's right here. He's tagging the video. You've done a great job, man.
Thanks.
Seriously,
Thanks for having me, man.
Anytime. We're coming at you live.
Cheers.